In case you're falling asleep to the mellifluous sound of my voice, we'll add a little bit of, we'll go back to video here. So now, we're down a page, we're down at the bottom paragraph of the page. It says, Atana taught, great was the calamity that befell that day, for everything at which Rabbi Eliezer cast his eyes was burned up. Again, we saw in the Shimon Bar Yochai story that we watched on video the other day, also fire shoots out of his eyes. And again, we're not sure whether this is intentional or unintentional. Rabban Gamliel, this is his first appearance in our story, too was traveling in a ship when a huge wave arose to drown him. It appears to me, he reflected, that this is on account of none other but Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus. Thereupon he arose and exclaimed, Sovereign of the universe, thou know full well that I have not acted for my honor, nor for the honor of my paternal house, but for yours, so that strife may not multiply in Israel. Shalo yirbu machloket b'Yisrael. Thereupon, or at that, the raging sea subsided. So our first appearance of Rabban Gamliel is this. Gamliel is the Rabban, he's the head of the Sanhedrin, and therefore he's responsible for the excommunication. Rabbi Eliezer has clearly done, has had something to do with this wave rising up, whether he's so upset that Gamliel is almost accidentally killed by his Hulk-like anger towards Rabban Gamliel, or whether this is an intentional way of trying to kill Rabban Gamliel by Rabbi Eliezer. It's clear that Rabbi Eliezer knows that Rabban Gamliel is responsible for excommunicating him, and Rabban Gamliel knows that Rabbi Eliezer is the one who's trying to kill him, intentionally or unintentionally. And this last line that we get, Sovereign of the universe, thou know full well, is really important. It is key to know and to understand that there's the central reason for why Rabban Gamliel excommunicates Rabbi Eliezer is not out of spite or out of hate or just because he did a bunch of magic tricks or something. It's a bigger deal. Rabbis argue all the time. Every time we look in the Talmud, we see one rabbi saying one thing and another rabbi saying another. We have the example going way back in the text of the different examples of Sukkot. We saw one of those on the final exam, that one rabbi thinks that it's okay to put planks on top of your sukkah, and another rabbi says you can't do this, and there's no answer as to which one's right. We see this in the Elu ve'elu text. The rabbis all disagree about whether Rabbi Hillel and Rabbi Shammai don't agree about a matter of law. They argue it for 2 years, and the Bat Kol comes down and picks one winner over the other. But in general, it's perfectly okay for rabbis to disagree. We also saw this in the marriage text. Rabbi Hillel and Rabbi Shammai, their two houses do marriage law completely differently in 6 ways, and yet they're still allowed to marry each other. So these are all examples of ways in which rabbis can disagree, and that's okay. This is not that case. These rabbis are not just disagreeing, they're fighting dirty. And fighting dirty is not allowed in Talmud. And the way in which they're fighting dirty is by pulling God into it, by pulling in a carob tree or uprooting a carob tree. Remember, we talked about that being symbolic. Trees are symbolic of Torah. So uprooting the Torah is a big deal. Reversing a course of water. Water is also a symbol of Torah over and over again in text. And the third one is by making the walls of the Beit Midrash nearly collapse. So this is a really bad thing. Another symbol of destruction that's being used here. So it's not that Rabbi Eliezer is disagreeing, it's that Rabbi Eliezer is destroying, and his way of disagreeing is destructive to the rabbis. And Rabban Gamliel's answer to God is, this is not cool, we need to stop these kinds of arguments, otherwise it'll get violent and destructive all the time. Or in Hebrew, Shalo yirbu machloket b'Yisrael, thereupon the waves stop. So God gets it. God knows that it's really bad if the rabbis fight dirty with each other. There are normal ways of arguing, there are abnormal ways of arguing, and the rabbis are given the opportunity, and they're basically told, yes, it's okay that you excommunicated Rabbi Eliezer. What he did here was not okay.